Hey there, you're listening to Genoa's Arcs, a self-reflective podcast exploring transformation with purpose, honoring growth and connection through awareness and presence. This is your host, Genoa Kay. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer. This episode contains reflections on trauma and emotional recovery. It is not intended as a substitute for professional advice. Please trust yourself and seek support as needed from a licensed mental health or healthcare provider. The views expressed are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect those of any guests, sponsors, or platform providers. As the creator and host of this podcast, I believe that service and sustainability go hand in hand. The idea that serving others must mean depleting yourself or working for free is a myth I choose to not perpetuate. While much of this content is freely available, you may hear sponsored messages or occasional requests for financial support, all of which help to keep this space alive and well. Some content may be offered through a paywall as a way to honor the time, energy, and skill it took to create them. If access to paid content is a barrier for you, please visit the show notes for more information. If you've ever felt like life knocked the wind right out of you and then handed you a hammer and said rebuild from here, you're in the right place. You probably know what it's like to stand in the rubble created by the human experience. This podcast was born out of that rubble. Not from one dramatic life-changing moment, but from a slow unraveling shaped by my own actions or inactions or by those of others. A series of painful, humbling, eye-opening moments that left me staring at my life, middle-aged, wondering how I ended up so far from myself. This show is a collection of lessons I've learned while digging through that rubble, lessons from failed attempts, big transitions, burnout, trauma, and maybe most of all, from trying to live life without a support system, or with one that just wasn't capable of offering what I needed at the time. I'm not a life coach, I'm not a spiritual guru, I'm not a mental health professional. I'm simply an expert on my lived experiences, my emotional recovery, my life lessons, my truth. I'm here to share what I've learned, what I'm still learning, different perspectives I've gained along the way, and perhaps most importantly, to create the kind of space I wish I'd had when I was stuck in the thick of it, when the rubble felt like it was going to bury me alive. You can expect episodes on things like how trauma messed with my memory and motivation and solutions that worked for me, realizing the importance of innocence and how I learned to reclaim and protect it, what freelance burnout taught me about boundaries and self-worth, learning to base my value on the skills that I worked hard to gain rather than based on what others say I'm worth or not, what it really took to rebuild a life I actually want to live, and how difficult, messy, yet fulfilling the experience has been. You'll hear me share like a friend who gets it. There won't be finger pointing, no life advice disguised as judgment. I can't provide the answers for you or your life, only stories, lessons, and guideposts from my own, to hopefully help you find your answers and your truth. So, if any of this resonates, if you're navigating a life rebuild, if you're figuring things out later than you thought you would, if you've failed and fallen apart more times than you care to admit, yet still have the courage to keep going, this podcast is for you. And I'm so glad you're here. If you've found value in today's episode and you'd like to support the ongoing creation of this space, you'll find ways to do so in the show notes. Support here is always optional, but also deeply appreciated. On the next episode, we'll dive straight into a storytelling series within this podcast called The 6 Arcs, a spiral journey into emotional recovery. Each arc contains 10 episodes and traces a story of emotional recovery, reflecting the non-linear, often turbulent nature of finding the way back to yourself. The first episode of Arc 1 introduces a series that has been on my heart for a long time, exploring what it means to reconnect with innocence, not as a return to childhood, but as a return to the truth of who we are underneath the pain, the suffering, the trauma. I'll share parts of my story and why this arc matters so much in my own journey of emotional recovery. Until next time, take good care. Genoa's Arcs is written, recorded, and produced by Genoa Kay. Original music composed and produced by Genoa Kay.